you ever wondered, why does my stomach growl when I'm hungry? Why do I sneeze twice? Or, why does our hair turn gray, sometimes faster than we'd like? You're watching Destination Explanation, and I'm your host, the Colonel. Today's destination, Top 8, Why Does? Questions and Answers. Number 1. Why does my stomach growl? The origin of this rumbling involves muscular activity in the stomach and small intestines. The digestive tract is a hollow tube that runs from your mouth straight to your back door, and its walls are comprised of layers of smooth muscle. When the walls squeeze, the contents of your stomach, be it gas, food, or cheap beer from the gas station, is pushed through the tract. This squeezing of the muscular walls involves a ring of contraction moving away from the oral cavity towards your bum a few inches at a time. The contractions also produce vibrations and a rumbling noise associated with hunger. Hunger contractions may last from 10 to 20 minutes when initiated, and repeated every 2 to 3 hours until you've eaten next. So basically your stomach has nothing left to contract, so it's pushing gases through your intestine causing the rumble. Or maybe you're just hungry for apples. Number 2. Why does the phrase, "a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush," still exist? First cited in John Ray's A Handbook of Proverbs in 1670, this proverb is one of the oldest and best known in English language. It warns against taking unnecessary risks, and it's better to keep what you have, i.e., a bird, than to risk reaching into that bush and ending up with nothing. The earliest of these is Hugh Rhodes' The Book of Nurture or School of Good Manners, circa 1530. "A beard in the hand is worth 10 fly at large." But that doesn't really roll off the tongue very well. In a manner of speaking, it's the granddad to the phrase, "the grass isn't always greener on the other side." Number 3. Why do we yawn? According to Andrew C. Gallup, Ph.D. from Princeton University, when you yawn, stretching of the jaw increases blood flow in the neck, face, and head. The deep breath during a yawn forces spinal fluid and blood from the brain downward. Cool air breathed in from the mouth lowers the temperature of these fluids. Together, these processes act like a radiator, removing hot blood from the brain while introducing cooler blood from the lungs and extremities, thereby cooling brain surfaces, Gallup says. Gallup predicts that colder air will lower the blood temperature better than hotter air. I think you really need a PhD for that one. The body should therefore yawn when air is cool and less when air is hot. So they decided to put this to the test in Tucson, Arizona. Gallup's team went there twice, once in the winter when it was cool around 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and once early in the summer around 98.6 degrees. The researchers asked 80 pedestrians to look at pictures of people yawning. It's well known that people often yawn when they see others yawn. Sure enough, in the colder weather, 45% of people yawned when they saw the photos, but only 24% of people yawned in hotter weather. Moreover, people yawned more if they'd been outside longer in cold weather and yawned less if they'd been outside longer in hot weather. Number 4. Why do we sneeze twice? The amount of times that you sneeze all has to do with the power of your schnoz. Usually, sneezes are initiated when a foreign body goes up your nostril, reaching the nasal mucus. This triggers a release of histamines, which irritates nerve cells in the nose. Don Zacharias, an allergist at University Hospital's Case Medical Center in Cleveland, tells Popular Science. This results in a sneeze. It's a powerful release of air expelling whatever's causing the irritation. However, if you're unable to get the irritant out on the first blow, your nerves will keep trying until it's expelled. Research indicates that people who sneeze through their mouth often sneeze more than once, simply because they're forcing air through the incorrect passage. The whole point of a sneeze is to force air through your nose and flush out whatever's causing the sneeze. For me, it's pepper. And you circumvent this process when you blow it right out your pie hole. Coming in at number 5, why does a pool table only return the cue ball? Some of you may be wondering, how the hell does a pool table know which ball to return? I know I've spent many drunken nights at the billiards tables claiming magic was the secret behind it. But actually, it's more like bomb-ass engineering. On earlier models of the coin-operated pool table, the cue ball was ever so slightly larger than the rest, which allowed it to pass through different channels underneath the pool table. However, pool players disliked this difference in weight and size and opted for a different solution. Thus, the magnetic core was born. A cue ball sporting a magnetically charged center was engineered and became the new standard for pool tables the world over. The magnetic core of the cue ball rolls by a magnetically controlled diverter that directs the cue ball down a different passage underneath the table, straight back to the player. So there you have it. Now, the shortest explanation yet. Couldn't really stretch this one out any further. Number 6. Why does our hair turn gray? Cited from the New York Times. Hair turns gray as cells called melanocytes at the base of hair follicles become damaged by disease, environmental exposure, or simply by age. Everyone has some gray hair throughout life. But normally most don't start the change until between 40 to 50 years old. The rate of change can vary by genetics, gender, and ethnicity, said Dr. James Kirkland from Mayo Clinic. African Americans tend to go gray later than Caucasians, with Asians falling somewhere in between. Women generally gray later than men. The age you gray is determined primarily by genetics. So if one or both of your parents went gray at an early age, you'll most likely gray younger as well. Smoking can also accelerate color change, and early graying could be a sign of autoimmune, thyroid, or heart disease. So if your hair is gray and you've got a history of heart problems, you better check in with the doc pretty quick. Further quoting Dr. Kirkland, "It's not clear whether chronic stress turns hair gray. Although President Obama's hair did turn gray during his time in office, studies have looked at stress and hair color and have determined it to be inconclusive." Number 7. Why does food contain pouches of silica gel? You all may have noticed when you try to open a bag of tasty beef jerky, there's a small pouch at the bottom labeled silica gel, do not eat. Kind of makes you just a little nervous since it's been hanging around your jerky all day. But you can rest easy though, because silica gel is, for the most part, harmless. It's used because of its incredible ability to store water, keeping moisture from tainting your delicious snacks. Silica, or silicon dioxide, is the same material found in quartz. The gel form contains millions of tiny pores that can absorb and hold moisture. Silica gel is essentially porous sand. Silica gel can absorb about 40% of its weight in moisture, and once saturated, you can dry the moisture off and reuse the silica by heating it to about 300 degrees Fahrenheit. If, of course, you're hard up for silica gel, that is. And coming in at number 8. Why does bottled water have an expiration date? Ever notice that your bottled water in the fridge has an expiration date? Go on. Look, I'll wait. Seems a bit ridiculous, right? Shouldn't water be good for, I don't know, ever? Technically, yes. But water quality isn't really the issue. In 1987, New Jersey state law required all food products sold there to display an expiration date of 2 years or less than the date of manufacture. But labeling, separating, and shipping batches of expiration-dated water to the Garden State seemed a little inefficient to bottled water companies. So most of them started giving every bottle a 2-year expiration date, pretty much no matter where it was going. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration had never established or even suggested a limitation on the shelf life of bottled water, as long as it was produced in accordance with regulations and the bottled water remained properly sealed. New Jersey caught on to this fact and amended their own law. But the expiration date had become an industry standard at that point, and they pretty much just said screw it and left it on there. While quote-unquote expired, unopened bottled water isn't going to harm you, it's certainly not going to get better with age either. The plastic that the water is packaged in usually contains polyethylene-based plastic for retail bottles and high-density polyethylene for water cooler jugs. These chemicals may begin leaching into the liquid over time, affecting its taste. Furthermore, plastic bottled water certainly doesn't keep out radiation either. Sorry, Fallout. Well, there you have it. Top 8 Why Does Questions and Answers. Of course, I'll say what every other dumb YouTube channel says and remind you to subscribe and like this video. This page is new, but with some support, I'll continue making top 8 videos and delve into the realm of urban exploring, if you're lucky. I'm your host, The Colonel, and thanks for watching.